Hello, this is Assistant Professor Vishnu Shankar from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Kakinad. Welcome to the course on Design and Engineering. EST200 Design and Engineering is offered to the second year BTech students of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. Before going to the first module, I will explain what are the objectives of this course. The objectives of Design and Engineering course are to introduce the undergraduate engineering students the fundamental principles of design engineering, make them understand the steps involved in the design process, and familiarize them with the basic tools used and approaches in design. Before going to the module 1, I will be explaining the syllabus of the subject Design and Engineering. Module 1 deals with the design process. In this module, Introduction to Design and Engineering is given, and a design process is defined which deals with setting of design objectives, identifying design constraints, establishing design functions, generating design alternatives, and choosing a design. Module 2 deals with design thinking approach. In this module, a design thinking as divergent convergent questioning is done. Design thinking in a team environment is also explained. Module 3 deals with design communication. In this module, we'll be explaining how designs can be communicated graphically, orally, and in writing. In module 4, design engineering concepts are explained. In this module, project-based learning and problem-based learning in design is explained. The modular design and lifecycle design approaches are also explained in detail. And in the last module or the fifth module, I will be explaining about the terms expediency, economics, and environment in design engineering. Now we will move on to the first module of the subject Design and Engineering. I would like to start this module by asking a question which is quite interesting. What is design? It is the starting point in engineering. And why do we design? To meet a need or find a solution. What are the different types of needs? The needs can be classified into individual needs, organizational needs, national needs, and universal needs. The next topic in this module is engineering design. Before going to that, I will explain what is design. Design is conceiving and giving form to artifacts that solve problems. And engineering design is a thoughtful process for generating plans or schemes for devices, systems, or processes to meet desired needs. Now, I would like to ask some questions. Where you use engineering design, when you use engineering design, and why you use engineering design. I think you must have got the answers for these questions. It will be more clear in the following slides. Now, coming to the next topic, diversity in design. As you can see from the images, the transportation facility for a long distance is classified into different types. That is, it can be a private jet, it can be an Airbus A380, and it can be a supersonic jet, and the one which is used by our Navy. Now, I would like to define three terms. They are client, user, and designer. Who is a client? A person or a group or company that wants a design conceived is called a client. And who is called a user, who will employ, operate, use whatever is being designed is called a user. And who is called a designer, whose job is to solve the client's problem in a way that meets the user's needs is called a designer. From the flowchart, we can see that client, designer and user are always depending on one another to complete a task. Now coming to the different types of design. The first one, adaptive design. It adapts from existing solution. No much changes are made to existing design and no much training is required. Now coming to the second one, development design. It also adapts from existing solution, results in completely new design and requires scientific training and good ability. The third one, innovative design. It's a totally new and innovative concept and should have great skill along with imagination. Now, coming to an example of different types of design. As you can see in the figure, these are the different stages of improvement in the spectacles. As you can see in the first figure, it is the old version of a spectacle which is called bifocal spectacles. And an improved version is called a bifocal spectacles improved, which is shown in the second figure. And as you can see in the third figure, there was a great improvement from the old one, which is called the variable focus spectacles. In this, adjustable inner lens holds a fluid that changes the focus as required by pushing the slider. So from this example, you can see how the design of a spectacle has improved over a period of time. The next topic is the design objective. Can you define a design objective? It is a feature or behavior that design should have or exhibit. It is a desired feature or characteristic of a design. It determines the effectiveness or suitability for the task. It is not what design should do, it is what the design should be. It may be completely or partially achieved. Objectives are normally expressed verbally. Example, design a low-cost bicycle. Questioning the client is an important way to reach the objective. The client's objectives can be attained when we ask questions to him related to the topic. For example, a client asks to design a safe ladder. If we ask certain questions such as why he or she wants another ladder, how will the ladder be used, who are our customers, these questions help us to formulate the objective. Now, moving on to the next topic, which is called the design constraints. It is a limit or restriction on the features or behaviors of the design. They are limit on freedom to design. They have to be satisfied or achieved by the design. Failure to meet the constraint makes design unacceptable. For example, design a bicycle for less than rupees 2000. We know that a bicycle below the price of 2000 is not an easy task. So it becomes a design constraint. Questioning the client is an important way to understand the constraints, as I have already explained. The client's limitations or conditions can be attained when we ask questions as follows. For example, if a client is asked to design a safe ladder, there are some questions which can be asked. They are, What does save mean? How much he or she is willing to spend? And what material is to be used? These questions helps to understand the limitations or conditions of the client. Objective versus constraint. First of all, what is the difference between an objective and a constraint? For example, design a low-cost car with indigenous material. In this, the objective is to design a car as cheaply as possible, and the constraint is to design with indigenous or natural material. Now, you must have understood the difference between an objective and a constraint. Cost becomes constraint to design car for less than rupees 3 lakh. Material becomes objective in similar fashion. Objectives are desirable attributes of a design, whereas constraints are required attributes of a design. Can you define a design function? Design functions are things a designed artifact is supposed to do. These are the major characteristics of a design. Establishing design function is of high priority. These are generated directly from customer needs, and they are classified into two. First one, basic function, which is catering the primary purpose, and the second one, secondary function, which supports the basic function, or required secondary function and unwanted secondary function. Now we will move on to an example of a design function. I will ask you a question. Design an automobile engine. Can you find the design function, basic function, required secondary function and the unwanted secondary function from this question? Yes, you are right. The design function is to produce power to drive automobile, whereas the basic function is just to produce power. The required secondary function is to convert energy, and the unwanted secondary function in this case is to reduce vibration and noise in the engine. What does a design mean? It is a way or a method to make the function happen. It is a small survey of similar activities. To do some research to see the workability or borrow some features from other design. An example can be design a portable drilling machine. What is a design form? It is the shape and structure of the final artifact. It is the skin for a function. It need not be a physical entity. Examples, it can also be a software. For the same function, the shape could be different. Inferring form from function alone is difficult. Often, the design starts with form. Functions then creep in slowly with the means. Now, from this slide, you can see the different forms of a telephone, even though all of them have the same functions. How different design forms are obtained? Yes, it is correct. Sketches give different design forms. As you can see in this slide, the latest design of a bicycle which can be used by sportsperson is obtained or derived from the various sketches that a designer makes, thus giving or arriving at the final design. Now I will explain what functional and strength designs are. Function and strength are the two important aspects of any design. Designs can be functional, strength based or both. For example, software designing. In this, design is based on function. Whereas design of a shaft, here design is based on strength. And design of a bicycle, here function and strength based designs are considered. So from this you can see how these two types of designs are used. Now the different examples of functional and strength based designs are shown in this slide. For example, in the first one, the software, here only the function is taken into consideration, whereas in the second case the strength is of high priority, and the third case here both function and strength is of high priority. So it is a function and strength design. Now I will give you an activity. Please classify them into function or strength design, or some of them may be a combination of function and strength design. Please identify the type of design and write against each case. What is the role of science, engineering and technology? Science gives the clue, engineering plans and technology delivers. Sciences give us unique solutions, whereas engineering gives us choices. The interdependency of science, engineering and technology is explained with the help of an example of a thermometer. Here, science gives the principle for temperature measurement, that is the thermal expansion of solids and liquids, whereas engineering uses this principle to design a thermometer and technology allows to realize the thermometer. Moving on to the last topic in this session, engineering as a business proposition. Engineering is not all about designing things, and engineering is not a curiosity shop to try different products, process, technology, etc. Engineering is all about business. To succeed, it has to pay back. Some exceptions are strategic products. Some of the examples of faded and sustaining designs are shaving blade, safety pin, etc. Before ending today's session, I would like to brief what all topics I have taught in today's session. In the beginning of today's class, I have explained what were the objectives of this course, design and engineering. Then, the definition of design and engineering were explained, and what is a design was also explained. Then, the different topics or terminologies coming in design were explained, such as design objective, design constraint, design function and design form. Then the different types of designs were also explained. The difference between functional and structural design was explained in the later stages. And to end today's session, I have explained the role of science, engineering and technology in design. See you soon with another session on design and engineering. Thank you.